Hi, everyone. Welcome into episode 4 of Who Should You Choose? And it is a big one, as today we are getting the full worldwide launch of NHL 25. And with it, if you've been watching my content so far since the launch, you've got one of the most important days in the history of HUT because we are finally going to get to see what the very first XP path or XP season looks like, which is really going to be a big determination of how well HUT content is going to be at launch of the game. So let's throw up the comments that I went through and found, and then we'll go reverse order. If you want your question answered in the next video, make sure you subscribe, notifications on for your best chance to get at. And also, everyone, if you are liking the comments in the comment section of the videos, I really appreciate it. I sort by whoever's the comments that are most interacted with, and that way I can try and answer as many questions as possible. So here we go. We'll start first with Hockey Steve. He says, I completely agree with your comments on wildcard. Wildcard and HUT moments should be in the areas to test the new hotness, the new MSPs or team of the week cards. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about with wildcard. What I'd love to see is I would love to see it tie into the event. So we got the early access wildcard event, and we might. So again, this is before the worldwide launch. So if the cover athlete event is the first event, the wild card season for that event, all of the non-drafted players or everyone in the draft pool should be from that event, and then you can also bring in a couple of your wild card players. So I want to be able to, in wild card, I want to be able to test like MSPs that I wasn't going to invest in, and then you can play online if you are an online player in wild card, match up against different players. It doesn't really matter who, and see how you like those cards as opposed to, not being able to test them really. So I would love to see the new MSPs in there. So we'll see. Next question is the Salamander says, should I keep MacKinnon or sell him? Guys, I'll be honest with you. The change to the HUT economy that we've seen so far, no one has any idea what's about to happen. We don't know if the content that's going to be dropped at worldwide launch is going to be sufficient enough to support all of the card prices coming down from the sets because there's so many cards being pumped back into the market. We'll wait and see. I would hazard a guess that players that aren't McDavid are probably going to fall a little bit in price when on Friday specifically, because everyone that puts money into the game is going to rip packs, and those will be the cards that sell the most because they're chasing after being able to get the hologram icons and all of that. So if you had MacKinnon, I probably wouldn't sell. I would just keep, and then maybe around Monday. There's no for sure good day of the market anymore because of the drawn out. There's no weekly rewards, right? Claus says, don't have any questions. I just want to say thank you for your work. Your big content push at launch is something I was looking forward to. I really appreciate that, guys. Had 21 likes on that. It is, it's my career, and I wouldn't have it without you guys. So thank you so much for watching and engaging with all my content. I'm glad to be around for yet another year. Vez says, bonjour sleeves. I try to defend the point as much as possible with the player I control, but what strategy settings would you recommend to use so that my AI players protect one-timers from the point? Thanks. So obviously, if you've been playing a lot during early access, you've noticed that the go-to for almost everyone is DDD one-timers, because once you skill-base one-timer from there, they basically go in. It's my own. I don't even want to call it a complaint, because if they nerf it and they end up nerfing one-timers in general, I don't have faith that they'll do it correctly. Unscreened DDD one-timers should not go in at the rate they're going in. But other than that, the one-timers I think are in a great spot. Like if you feed in Ovechkin's spot, I want that thing to go upstairs in a hurry, and so far it has. When it comes to defending it, though, I'm going to have a strategy video that comes out when my subathon ends, which currently I have 12 more hours on it, so we'll see if it keeps going into the next few days, but it's a video that I want to take a lot of time on. This has been the best I've felt playing online in terms of like being able to perform well, and I figured out some strategies that I think will really help the casual player base. I found a lot of like set plays, and on defense I'm playing really well. You want to use tight point, which has not been the case since NHL 21, when DDD one-timers became much less useful. So I'm using tight point, puck side attack, and then I am manually selecting by holding down right trigger, and you can push up on the right thumbstick or wherever, what direction to select your player manually. It doesn't work all the time, which stinks. We need button select. So like, how you hold down R2 when you're passing and all the icons come up to who to pass to? We need that on defense. But it does help. And then what you do is when they're down low and you can see a DD one-timers open, you switch to your player that's up high. Your wingers will stay up high, and then you go and sit in that passing lane. And intercepts work. Passes are getting picked off left, right, and center. It's very hard to force. So I've had tons of breakaways because people are just so dead set on trying to feed it through for a one-timer. Hut Rush was my favorite mode, but Wildcard has been fun. Can't wait for Friday to see how good or bad the XP path will be. Hut Rush, we talked about that in the last episode. It had a lot of potential. It also had so many bugs that it required a massive overhaul. Wildcard did replace it. It's very similar, but I do think that I don't know how to make Wildcard the longevity of the mode more successful than Hut Rush. I think that the fact that it's cleaner and doesn't have broken objectives, and you're not playing on tiny rinks, for the most part. I think it will have a little bit more legs, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm excited, and yes, the XP path is going to be it's not doom and gloom, but it is going to be very important. Next question says, hi, Sleeves. Just curious on what you want to see out of content this year. I would love to see some more players on past teams, their prime, or even junior. I feel like the power creep will be much slower this year given the low overalls. Thanks for the content. So when he talks about power creep, he talks about getting cards in higher overall being released. They definitely reduced it last year because 99s didn't even come out until August. And even then, there wasn't a lot of them. So they definitely are trying to make it where we don't get to 99 Hut, which isn't a bad thing, but it's obviously a big change because we're getting like LOL 96s in June, right? So I would love me and Kesso. If you don't know who Kesso is, a former content creator with who I started my podcast with years ago. We did a episode like in 2022 going over player builds and a player build system where a 99 sniper has different attributes than a 99 grinder. So for example, if you had a 99 sniper, his shot could go to 99, but his body checking was capped at 75, right? If you had a grinder, your body checking can get to 99, but your shot is capped at 80, right? And what that would allow is you could release a Connor McDavid Rocket Richard card. So he won the Rocket Richard because he randomly said, hey, you know what I want to win? I want to be the league's best goal scorer one year, put up 60, and sure enough, he ended up doing that. So you could release that Connor McDavid card where his shooting is far higher than his normal card. You know what I'm saying? So you could do like player builds. I would love that. Like it would just be, you could do some really fun things. Like I think they did it last year a little bit with the Gallery of Greats Ovechkin, where they gave Ovechkin better speed because it was of his rookie year or that year. You know what I'm saying? Like they're dabbling in it, but I would love to see like a full system of doing like specific cards and tiers, like junior cards that are faster, but they're not as powerful, right? 100%. Let's see. Next question. Sorry, my camera's acting up. I apologize. It's been on for 8 days, so people have forgotten how to play for fun. It's got 86 likes. We need to address this. 100%. I talk about this a lot, but the gaming industry is engineered to not just give you a lot of fun, or it's not all about small hour, 2 hour sequences of having fun anymore. It is about what can they do to keep you in the game longer. That is what the entire video game industry is designed for now. And if you've been gaming for 20 years, obviously you're probably in a spot like me where you're just like, games aren't the same anymore. When I was a kid, you would have a 20-hour story game like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. And the fun was, at your own pace, creating like going through the story. And if you would get to dull sections of the story, you'd be like, okay, I'm going to put this down, I'm going to go do other things, right? And then you would come back later on, you'd pick it up, and then you would continue on. Now the way that sports games specifically, if you're playing Ultimate Team, are set up is to, hey, if you don't sign on and grind real hard, then you're not going to get the rewards to keep your team good, what you're chasing. And that's a big issue in the entire gaming industry. So I talked about this at launch of what I'm seeing is the early access XP path is very lackluster, right? Obviously, we were able to complete it very easily. And it's funny, you're like, you completed all the rewards in the game. Think about what that statement says. In Hockey Ultimate Team, we were able to complete all of the rewards very quickly to the point where everyone says, I'm done. I have nothing to play for. The fact that you're actually able to complete the rewards itself is an insane feat because EA has never really had a thing where they've had a structure of content where you can actually finish everything because we were weekly rewards, right? Which is why it's such a big change, a good one. But when they don't give out rewards that are endless, we're so engineered now. In gamers are just, we're like, we gotta grind nonstop. That's just going to work. That is literally just clocking in for your shift to get your paycheck, whatever the rewards are, at the end of the week, right? And my I don't know what I'm trying to say here. My advice for that is if you are done all of the rewards and you've earned what you can, and you don't want to play the game, you need to go play something else when you've completed what you have wanted to complete, right? I have been really enjoying gameplay. I've really enjoyed it, and not everyone is going to, right? That's something why I don't like talking about gameplay or giving my advice on gameplay or my takes to the game changers or the devs, because I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like I think that what I enjoy isn't going to be what everyone else enjoys, right? There's things that need to be tweaked, but in my opinion, this is the cleanest gameplay we've had, like cleanest, where we're not seeing pucks being thrown in your own net. There's a few, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's much cleaner, right? And so I've enjoyed it. I saw someone else comment, I finished everything in Hut, and then he went and played World of Chell for the first time, and now he's really into World of Chell. That's what I'd recommend. If you are not having fun and you feel like I'm bored because I can't go and get more rewards, right, and you don't just have fun playing Rivals or whatever mode you enjoy, go play Franchise Mode, go play World of Chell. If you don't want to do either of those, I would recommend Escape from Tarkov. I also love Civilization, but if you get Civ 6, I prepare you, you will lose weeks of your life. Next question. I'm so glad I didn't buy this game. Yes, the new mode was needed, but the X-Path needs to be nerfed like MLB The Show. This is why the NHL video game series will never universally be loved. So 95% of the comments I've seen are the XP path is too little. We can't grind. There's no rewards to earn. There's not enough in it. And now I've completed everything. What do I do with my hands? My man Cody says it's too powerful, needs to be nerfed. How we experience the game is just kind of crazy because we all have different ways we experience it. I hope the XP path that comes out, the full season-long version, is legitimately 200 tiers. And that might seem excessive, but if it's 3 weeks, if it's 3 weeks long, I hope if they make errors on the XP path, the error is they give out too much, and then they can dial it back, as opposed to they go so conservative. We finish the XP path in a week and a half, because one of the things that's going to happen is someone is going to find the XP glitch, because we all want the path of least resistance, and you don't actually want to play video games. You just want the paycheck. And that's going to ruin that first XP path, right? So, we'll wait and see. Again, it's very, very important. I feel like they took my AI IQ away and gave it to their AI IQ. Like, I think what he's referring to is that the AI is good. I don't know. I actually don't know what he means by that, so I apologize. But I have found AI offensively, when using behind the net specifically, I can see it. Your AI just moves, man. Last year, when the offensive plays set up, they just stood still, and you had nothing. You couldn't cycle. You couldn't do anything. When you're using behind the net, if you're moving, your guys just flip. Like, it's so good. It's so clean. And I know that they're going to nerf something and change it, and I just hope they don't. Thoughts on shorter goalies being more viable, at least early? Higher rated goalies early on, and by shorter, I mean 6'2" and above, could be usable online. I'm using 76 overall Artur Shilovs, who I think is 6'4", and he's been fine. Goalies do not matter. It's how you play defense. The thing about goalies, a lot of people have had issues scoring early on. The reason why we have hard time scoring early on is because the shooting attributes of the players are in line with the goaltenders. So Brett Hull, if you watch my Power Up Icon video, I talk about how his card is so valuable early on because he has 95 shooting. He also has like 80 speed, so he's a tree trunk. But you can almost flick up on goaltenders with Brett Hull and it will go in. All of the other cards that are in the lower 80s, they have like mid-80s shooting, very low. And goaltenders can stop that because attributes do matter. It's not just their size. They can actually pick them up. And as we get later in the year, speed only goes up by 0.5. Every time a card goes +1, speed goes up by 0.5. I think that shooting should also go up by 0.5 because we get to 99 shooting and 99 shooting very quickly, and then goalies do not matter. Like their attributes, no matter they can't, because goalie attributes are capped in line with what player attributes are, but it's then about size. What should I prioritize, icons or X factors? I have a feeling us no money spent players are going to have a hard time collecting enough cards. Thanks for all you do for us. I don't suck at this game because of you. Glad to hear it, brother. I'm waiting until the worldwide release because that'll be a determination, right? Because 75 overall players and 76 overall players are being used, we'll have to wait and see. But it's all going to depend on what comes out. It might be neither. If I'm for my no money spent team, I'm going to go after McDavid for you guys because it's fun. It's something to chase after because I play the game excessively. It's a fun chase. You guys will get to see if I can even do it. No money spent. But for the casual player, like I might avoid either and just save all my coins and buy the cards I want. Like, we'll just have to wait and see. As broken as it was, I really did find Hut Rush fun, especially if you just wanted some quick arcade hockey with great rewards. They would have been better served to fix its issues and also make some improvements to the mode. It had a lot of potential and could have been expanded in very cool ways. I absolutely despise Wildcard and is just another mode I will ignore. Again, hearing like the dichotomy of the player base when I hear from my community, a lot of people are the opposite. But that's why it's so hard to please everyone. I will agree. I was in the minority that I think Hut Rush had a ton of potential. I think all they needed to do was to fix the objectives not tracking and allow us to play with our players, or play with our friends. Like Hut Rush reminds me of World of Chell. If you were to just allow us to bring in 5 buddies and grind Hut Rush, and they earn the rewards as well at the same time in Hut Rush and whatever else, and we could have like 6s in Hut Rush with our boys. Hilarious amounts of fun. That's something that's so needed in Hut because World of Chell is the bigger mode. It is the more played mode than Hut. If they'd allow us to play World of Chell in Hut, game changer. Like that's the next big thing. Co-op Hut is one of the bigger things that I think will take this game to the next level. But we have to be able to earn rewards while we're playing. So if I invite you guys, I can't just be the one earning XP and stuff because it's my team or whatever. It has to be the same across the board, and it'd be huge. I'm with you here. I don't think I would give a wild card a little bit of a chance because I think it is going to be unique in the sense that you get to pick the cards that you play with. Now, if the draft pool is 77 overall players like it was in Hut Rush, that stinks. It needs to be MSPs and cards that we can't normally acquire. Like I would love one of the draft. Like if let's say this wild card is 3 weeks long, I would love a wild card season where one of the players is supercharged Connor McDavid, power up icons, and you got to pick between them so you could try them out. That's what I would love. I grew up a Leafs fan until I was old enough to appreciate real hockey. Yep. Hey Sleeves, best content as always. Hello from Tallinn, Estonia. Bonjour. I'm 43 playing EA NHL since 93 PC series. I'm Russian language. My English has improved over the last 2 seasons because of your videos. That is the most wild content because I can barely speak and read English. Let's go, buddy. Next up, we've got, this is a better one. Slaves, as always, S tier content, thank you. This is the first year in the past 4 releases that I pre-ordered the game and am planning to play it through Hut, either no money spent or very little money spent, and I'm a bit anxious to see what things look like on Friday. You'll probably know immediately where I'm going with this, LOL, as a Philadelphia native who now lives in Tennessee, and a huge Flyers fan present at the Nashville draft, and got a signed pick for my number 7 overall. I very much hope there is some sort of Matvei Michkov rookie/next-gen card to chase with his name being talked about for the Calder contention this season. You'll have to pry it from Macklin Celebrini's hands, brother. Surely that'll be a thing, right? Should I expect to look out for something like that? And is there anything I can do to prepare to chase one as soon as it's possible? So something that isn't talked about is with like the change to the economy so far, this is the most amount of coins. I'm guaranteeing this. This is the most amount of coins during early access the player base has ever had. First of all, we had 7 days to grind, not 3. But more importantly, the chase cards were so expensive that they were egregious in cost that no one even attempted. So everyone's sitting on a couple 100,000 coins. And if you're not, go watch my How to Get Started video. That'll show you how to get at least 100, 200,000 coins pretty quickly. What that allows is, this is my guess. When events come out, you can go and buy, because those MSPs are pullable. So for the Cover Athlete event that's about to be launched, let's say I want Eric Lindros. I think this year I will just go and buy Eric Lindros and use him with my coins. In prior years, I wouldn't do that at all, but I have no interest in trying to chase after McDavid and the power up icons currently. So you'll be able to just, if you save your coins and you only go after your favorite players, you'll be able to either make the MSP or just buy them tradable. The next gen event is very early. The reason why the next gen event is probably my favorite event that isn't fantasy team of the year or team of the season is because it's their way around not having headshots for the players. So this year we have an amazing rookie class, a Calder class, that is headlined by U.S. collegiate players. Macklin Celebrini, Will Smith, Cutter Gauthier, Matvey Michkov from Russia, obviously. And they don't have their rights until they play an NHL game. But they also don't have their headshots because the teams have to send them. So what they do is they make master set player items of those cards because they don't need their headshot, right? So the next gen event allows them to put those rookies into the game and then use them. I hope that the next gen event, they sort of did this last year, is the only event or one of them that they upgrade throughout the year, in my opinion. I think they should. So I would expect it's the second or third event early on because they want to give the rookies and the hype out. So I would expect maybe first event in November. People are conflating issues with rewards and issues with game systems. Example, Hut Wildcard as a mode is very well made, has its own extra reward path, and caters to both online and offline fans. EA can tweak the mode throughout the year, increase overall, change cap, change starting players, change path rewards. There's nothing inherently wrong with the system structure. 1,000%. 100%. One of the biggest issues with EA NHL is that when they made the jump to NHL 15, the code in which they used is basically, they call it spaghetti code, where they just, every year, because they only have a year to develop the game, they're just tossing code on top of it. And what's happened in the last few years is they now will make a change somewhere, a very easy one, like compare cards in the auction house, and it'll break something from 4 years ago that they weren't prepared for because it's just bad foundation. Hut Wildcard was built from the ground up with new tech, as is the XP Path reward system. So now if they want to make changes, they don't have to worry about something else breaking and then spending time to fix that, which is what happened with Hut Rush, kind of. Like, if they wanted to fix Hut Rush, they would have spent a month on it, right? So that's what, I agree with Wildcard. The things that are developed now with the foundation being the focus and not just trying to, pass over something is definitely a positive. Hey, Sleeves, love the channel and appreciate your view on the game as well as your great tips and tricks. Tricks, Trix. I'm so excited to follow your Normally Spent team and channel for yet another year. I was really looking forward to these new modes in Hut, and I'm sure they will improve in the near future. They have to, because right now they are pretty empty. He's talking about the XP path, and I agree with that. And I'm trying not to feel disappointed by pre-ordering the game. I actually think it was a bit of a ripoff this year. I don't disagree because it's not worth $130. And also, I feel like this year has been too focused on online games. Just look at the difference on what you earn when playing Wildcard online versus offline. And also, the AI in offline mode is a total beast. I've seen 69 overall crush my 85 Steven Stamkos. And don't get me started on the goalies. They seem even better than last year, and I'm guessing that All-Star 2025 is closer to Superstar 2024. I would love to hear your views on offline modes and the AI and the goalies, because I really think EA needs to dial it back a bit. So let me touch on this. Maybe I'm biased, but I think that online always needs to be more rewarded for performance than offline. The reason being is that you can manipulate offline very easily. So for someone that's good at the game, you can score on squad battles and literally find soft spots to just sit. Whereas if I'm in Division 1 and I win a game against another Division 1 opponent, that is by far the hardest thing to do in the game, you need to be rewarded for that accordingly, right? Either with time, so it takes less time to complete the XP path, or by rewards. I think that when you reward the offline as much as the online, what ends up happening is you get the online player base just doing the offline stuff, and it's monotonous and boring because they offer more rewards. Like, Squad Battles has been more rewarding than Rivals, but it's just so boring to play for that other side of the player base. I think Wildcard kind of nailed it. Because if you want to play offline, you don't want to play online, you still get 60 points for Wildcard if you win on Superstar. It's 100 if you win online. But what I think is important is that wildcard is like, hey, you can play online, and even if you lose, you're only getting 10 points less than if you win on Superstar. I have a comment coming up, I believe. I don't know if I saved it, where it's forcing players that are kind of scared to play online because they don't feel like they're good enough. If you can play Superstar AI, you can play online. And he's actually winning games and he's having more fun online, right? So again, it's a delicate balance, but I think that the wild card nailed it. I think the XP path is going to be checks and balances because the multiplier you get in Division 1 for a win needs to be high enough so that Division 1 players don't say, hey, this is pointless. I don't want to play against Division 1 players. If I can fall into Division 2, play lesser opponents, and get more point or get the same amount of points, right? That's always been the issue because of how it worked before. And lastly, about first of all, Superstar AI is crazy hard. The goalies, every goalie, no matter what mode or difficulty you've selected on offline play. So if you play on rookie, like a rookie moment, the goalie is on all-star, which is one of the most frustrating things to me. I've relayed my opinion about this to the devs. Their thinking is that if you get a new player that comes into the game on rookie and learns how to score on rookie, because everything else is very easy in terms of like getting open, getting shots, all of that. If you can figure out how to score on rookie, then you can score online, right? So, but the thing is it's so difficult to learn hockey from a video game standpoint in terms of other sports games that it just pushes a lot of people away from the game, I think. Let goalies be on rookie. No Sleeves a legend. I'm watching you since the very beginning, and I played NHL since '94. I passed all ups and downs of the franchise, as are you. I just want to say the following: We asked for one tease, done. We asked to play what we want and earn rewards, done. We asked for better AI, done. We asked for better graphics and presentation, done. Now a huge part of the community is crying for the same things that they asked from EA. It's just speaking of human nature that we're never satisfied. We need to give a chance to devs to deliver and stay critical, but also hype their efforts. Do you agree? By the way, I want to make hologram Scott Niedermayer as my favorite player. I have 300K. What do you think? I'll start backwards. If Scott Niedermayer is your favorite player, you need to make sure that you get Scott Niedermayer. It's going to cost you a ton, and is it worth it in terms of like value? No, but it is worth it to put him on your team because if you succeed with your favorite players, it's going to be more fun. In terms of your opinions on what's been done. So we asked for one tease back, and they're back in the game. 100%. Awesome that you can now score one-timers again in the game. It's great, and I would say that that's awesome. It still needs to be fine-tuned. They need to dial back unscreened DDD one-timers, and I'm someone who's really enjoying it, but I can see that, right? You can hype up the devs' efforts for doing something good, right? But we're always trying to improve, right? Because if we don't, then we just accept what they're giving us. And, you know, we pay for it anyway. It's a product we pay for, right? We asked to play what we want and earn rewards. This is 100%, I think, being overlooked by the fact that the reward path was so weak. As long as the reward path is good, playing whatever you want is such a better experience. I've played like 80 games of squad or rivals in my early access. I've also been streaming and I've been live for 90 straight hours, so don't judge me. But in prior years, I would play my 50 rivals games and then I would have to go play 40 games of squad battles and hate every minute of it to earn the rewards during early access or to start my team off. I haven't touched squad battles other than a few just to get the objectives done, like a few of them, like the Deeks. So that is 100% a win, but they just have to make sure the rewards come close enough, and we have got a hell of a game. We asked for better AI. Offensively, the AI is very good. I think defending the rush, the AI still step up a little too much. Again, minor tweaks, but I think we need more strategies, not just the same three we've had for the last 20 years. But I can agree the AI does seem a bit better. They intercept passes, all of that. We asked for better graphics and presentation. Got to disagree here. I'm in the minority. I think that I want to see the game look like NBC, a traditional broadcast for an NHL game. I don't like the Fortnite catering to the younger crowd. But again, I'm old, so that kind of makes sense. But I do agree. We have to celebrate the wins as you do the losses, which is something I try to do on my channel. I have to say, the content team has all of the tools, and they did a great job at the end of NHL 24, giving us free cards that you could actually make your team with if you started very late in the year, which is something that's never happened. But they also gave us some of the worst events and mechanics for events that we've ever had in HUT. Like the trade deadline event from NHL 24 is one of the most absurd things that they ever greenlit. So, I have hope, but I'm pessimistic. Hey, Sleeves, this is my first year playing Hut. I'm well-versed in Ultimate Team. I've played every other sports game, essentially. One thing I'm frustrated with is the process of auctioning players off. I can't find a quick way to see how much players are going for. I'm not a massive NHL fan now, just getting into it, so I don't know what players very well, which makes it harder. Would love a video talking about sets in the auction house in Hut for beginners. Love the videos. Appreciate that, man. If you go into the auction house or your collection, like you search all the cards, if you click on it, you can hit search in auction house or compare price, and it will show you all of that card, and you can go through and see the prices for that individual card. The auction house is a disaster. I hope that next year we finally get a rebuilt auction house. That's one of the things, like an example of the spaghetti code. So Wildcard is built from the ground up. The XP path is built from the ground up. They can make changes to that like that. The auction house is built from NHL 15, and to make changes and optimize that, they have to go in, fix something, another thing will break, and then they've got to patch that. And then when they patch that, 4 other things break, and they've got to patch all those holes. Like, they need to tear down the auction house and rebuild it, but that takes significant dev resources, but it is something that I hope they focus on next year. All right, last one. I want to do a theme team, but I'm a Jets fan, so we don't have the most great meta players, especially early on. Highest overall I can chase right now is Chris Chelios. Do you think the theme team... Chris Chelios... Oh my God, he's a Thrasher. Did he play for the Jets? I forgot all about that. Do you think the theme team would be worth over sticking to the meta? In MLB, I am not a great MLB player. I'm a Division II MLB player, so I'm roughly what I am in Hut, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But in MLB... I don't chase after cards I don't care about in terms of the players. I love using Red Sox players because I'm a diehard Red Sox fan. And when I hit a perfect with David Ortiz, it'll hit so much more than if I hit it with Derek Jeter. Like, just because I won the game and the outcome is the same, how you get to that outcome is a huge dopamine hit that no one realizes because we're all so trapped in the meta and trying to win, and that is more of a function of online play in general. So yes, it is worth it. You will struggle, but when you're overall, you will probably lose more than you would if you chase the best cards, but when you win, way higher dopamine peak. So, all right, guys, that is going to do it for Who Should You Choose? The next episode will be out on Monday. This is a Monday through Friday series that I do in the morning, so expect it then. Again, please like the comments that you want to see me answer. I sort those first, and then I go in reverse order. And make sure you subscribe with notifications on to be able to get your question in quickly. Here's hoping for a great worldwide launch. See you guys then.